Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam, Doctor.
Okay, sorry for the delay today. Okay, so we're gonna start with again every week is a new topic. So hopefully everyone is feeling uh, you know healthy and strong and lively. Is known. Okay, week almost this is the end of week number 2 of the fasting Ramadan. I mean the fasting month of Ramadan. Okay, so inshallah today we will cover on uh, chapter 7. Okay, on firm and on perfect competition and monopoly. So basically, this will be the last topic under the microeconomics syllabus. Okay, whereby next week we're gonna start on the macroeconomics section of in the from the syllabus of principle of economics. Okay, so again, if you if you are an economic student, okay, whereby if you take microeconomic subject, okay, or macroeconomic subject as one full subject, okay, for example, like for Bachelor of Economics student, okay, they need to take microeconomics and also macroeconomic subject. So topic like perfect competition in the syllabus of microeconomics, it is covered under one chapter, okay? And the same goes with uh, the second part of our syllabus here, which is on monopoly. Okay, you can see that this slide is taken from an old book, okay, 2012, okay? Because this book, this subject is something is very theoretical in nature. So the stuff or the things that you're going to learn remains same and still applicable. Okay, although now it's already 2021, but the points or the notes, okay, that you see will be still the same one that many of your seniors, okay, of your for those who have learned the subject many years ago. Okay, so the stuff that you will be learning this week, okay, will be the same one since the last 15-20 years ago. Okay, because this is still the relevant and applicable concept on the market structure. Okay, so the goal for this week is to cover two types of market. Okay, one is perfect competition and the other one is monopoly market. Okay, so of course in the real world, there are many other types of market structure, okay, beside these two. Okay, but of course, just to introduce okay, as an introduction, okay, to this type of market structure, so that when you look at the real world, you can appreciate and you can try to relate, okay, how economists categorize this type of market structure, what are the characteristics, how the firm behave, how the firm set their prices, okay, based on what characteristics of the market. Okay, so the first one in your syllabus that you need to learn is what we call perfect competition, okay, or perfectly competitive market. So the word perfect is okay, meaning absolute, okay, complete. Okay, so the word competition is whereby companies compete, okay, against each other for a small piece of the market share. Okay, so what is a perfect competition market? Okay, is where it's a market where there are many companies or firms selling similar products. Okay, so this is the first characteristic. Okay, selling similar product to many buyers. Okay, the second component is many buyers, meaning in a market where there are many sellers and also a large number of buyers. Okay, and there is no restrictions to entry. To enter the market. So I think now you can relate more in terms of this perfect competition market in the online platform. Okay, for example, platform like the Shopee, Lazada, or the one in Facebook, okay, or Instagram, where people can set up their own mini shop, okay, mini market or mini shop in this online platform. Okay, and the cost to set up the business is very, very low. Okay, you need to pay just a few fees, okay, a low amount of fees to this website, or commission that you need to pay to the company or to the website, uh, okay, developer, okay, for you to start selling your products. Okay, so there are many sellers selling similar product, okay, or identical products. And because there are many firms, okay, or many sellers selling products which are very similar to each other, okay, so because of that, and there is no firm that has any advantage over new ones. Okay, so existing firms has no advantage, meaning although you are an older player, okay, meaning senior in the market, but that does not mean that the junior player or the junior company entering the market cannot compete with you, because everyone is selling similar products. Okay, of course, perhaps in the real world, if you go to Shopee or Lazada, okay, usually people will go for sellers that has higher ratings, and the number of items sold in for that particular seller is high, so that you can see that the rating or the ranking, okay, in terms of how many stars, okay, 5 out of 5, 4.5, 4.9 and above. So usually you will go for that kind of rating. So maybe being and so that would be just a slight advantage of existing firm compared to newer ones. But in terms of theory, okay, existing firm has no advantage. And buyers and sellers are well informed about prices. So I think now more relevant, okay, because you can check prices online, okay, and you can sort or you can filter if you go and do your shopping online in any website. Most of website nowadays, you can even select prices. So you can sort prices from low to high. So you know who's are selling similar product at a higher price or at the lowest price possible. So buyers are informed, and also seller also they know if they want to join the market, okay, selling let's say an item in the market. So you know what you need to charge, okay, what you need to sell to the consumers. So for example, if you want to sell something on Facebook, okay, or so let's say you want to sell something that very common and that many people are selling, okay. So before you join the market, so you need your pricing should be similar to the other sellers in the market, okay. So meaning that you know what prices that you need to set, okay. And because there are many sellers, there are many buyers, okay, especially because there are many sellers, okay, any firm in a competition market is a price taker, okay, not price maker. So uh, between these two terms, okay, price maker versus price taker. Okay, in the second part of the topic for chapter number 7, okay, you're going to look at this concept of monopoly, okay, whereby in the monopoly market, you will learn on this concept of price price maker, okay, in this. Okay, so in the second part of so we will cover this part in the next class on Thursday. So today we're gonna discuss only on the perfect competition. Okay, but basically once you understand on the perfect competition, to understand monopoly will become much more easier. Okay, because they share some similar characteristics. But monopoly, okay, just to introduce, they are considered as price maker, okay, because they has the monopoly in the market. So the word monopoly is only one seller, okay, in the market, or they are very significant. So they have control in the market, so they can set whatever price they want. So for example, maybe many years ago, Astro in Malaysia is the only provider of cable TV. Now maybe you can say that there is Astro and maybe Unify, or under TM. Okay, but still under cable TV, Astro is still considered as the uh, monopoly. So they can charge whatever price they want. Okay, because there is no close substitute. Okay, but under perfect competition, okay, because there are many sellers. So every firm is a price taker. Price taker means if you want to join the market, you cannot simply set whatever price you want. Okay. So usually the price that each seller need to set is based on what is the market price set by the market. Okay. So you cannot set your own price. Okay. Because uh, customers are informed about the prices. So if you sell something above the market price, nobody will come and buy from you. Okay. So seller face perfectly elastic demand curve. So in the previous chapter on demand and supply, okay, you learn about this concept of elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply. Okay. And one concept about elasticity of demand, you learn that demand can be elastic, which is quite a flat demand curve, or demand can be very inelastic, which is the demand can be very steep, or another type of demand which you call as perfectly elastic and also perfectly inelastic. Okay, so for perfectly elastic, the demand curve, okay, you can go back and check your slides on the previous chapter. Perfectly elastic is whereby the demand curve is perfectly horizontal, meaning that the quantity can go from 0 to infinity, okay, but they can only sell at one price. Okay. Okay, versus if the demand is perfectly inelastic, meaning uh, no matter what price they get, or the seller, the demand is perfectly inelastic, okay, the quantity remains the same regardless of the price, okay, received in the market. So for a perfect competitive supplier, okay, or seller, so if you join, for example, a market in the Shopee, for example, let's say there are many sellers selling similar items. So let's say you want to sell uh, okay, berapa? Okay, let's say you want to sell smartphone accessory, let's say casing, okay, smartphone casing, okay, let's say of a particular brand. So if you type that kind of that model, or that brand name in the website, okay, you may be able to find maybe more than 10, 15, 20 sellers selling something very similar, okay, at a similar price. Okay, so of course in the Shopee, sometimes people will or Lazada, okay, people will play around with the price just to make their, but usually the price that they will set will be what is considered the market price. Okay, so in the perfect competition market, okay, because they have no control over the price, meaning because firm is a price taker. Price taker means they cannot set their own price. Because of that, their demand will be perfectly elastic. They can only set at one price, okay, or the market price. And then if they go higher or lower, there will be no demand on that. Okay. If you can sell at this price, the logical thing to do is not to sell lower. Okay, because at this price, this is what considered as the market price. So the demand can go from 0 to infinity. Okay, because the firm is a price taker, and because of that, the firm face at a perfectly elastic demand curve. Okay, because of this characteristic, okay, because the demand is perfectly elastic, not downward sloping, because of that, okay, the demand, or the demand curve will also be equal to the price, and also equal to these two terms here, or these two functions, which is average revenue and also marginal revenue. Okay, we will learn in the next few slides what is average revenue, what is marginal revenue. Okay. Okay, so what is average revenue? So we know that the demand curve is, okay, so you know that this is the demand curve, P and Q. Okay, so from here you can see that, okay, if this is a perfectly elastic demand, okay, so this is your demand curve, and this is the price that the firm has to sell in the market. Okay, so P equal to the demand curve is correct, because let's say because at the same price, the price is also equal to the demand. Okay, because whatever price that the firm can sell will also be equal to the demand function. Okay, but if you face a downward sloping demand curve, meaning there can be many prices. Okay, so you cannot say price is equals to demand because there can be many prices that the firm can get. Okay, but if the demand curve is perfectly elastic, it's only one price. Okay, so because of that, the price is always equals to the demand. So this always equals to demand. How about AR and MR? Okay, we know that. Okay, first we need to know how to calculate revenue. Okay, I think in the previous topic, okay, I already showed you that total revenue can be obtained by P times quantity, price multiplied by quantity. This is to get total revenue. Okay, in order to get average revenue or marginal revenue, you must get TR first. Okay, once you get total revenue, then you can derive AR and MR. Okay, so to prove that in a perfect competition market, okay, beside P equals to demand, AR also will also equals to MR, meaning there are four equalities here. P equals to AR equals to MR equals to demand. Okay, and this condition is only true in a perfect competition market. In a monopoly market or any other type of market, this is not the same. Meaning, on this condition is only exists in a perfect competition market. Why? Because of the perfectly elastic demand curve. Okay. Why firm has a perfectly elastic demand curve? Because firm is a price taker. They can only accept what is the price set by the market. They cannot change, they cannot set their own prices. Okay, so because of that, firm face a perfectly elastic demand curve. Okay, so at this price, the firm can sell from 0 to infinity. They cannot sell lower, they cannot sell higher. Okay, so because of this, price will always be equals to demand. Okay, and because of this condition also, perfectly elastic demand curve, okay, we can show in the next few slides that AR will also be equals to MR, also which is also equals to price. Okay, so AR is average revenue. So first, just now, total revenue is P times Q, P multiplied by quantity. So once you obtain the total revenue, you can calculate AR. So basically, AR is TR divided by Q. Okay, the word average. Okay, average means total divided by quantity. Marginal revenue is the same as the concept that you learn on marginal cost, marginal product. Okay, so marginal revenue is the change in total revenue. Okay, divided by the change in output. Okay, so that is marginal. Okay, additional revenue earned. Okay, by selling 1 unit more of output. Okay, but average revenue, okay, or purata, okay, the average or the mean will be TR, total revenue, divided by quantity. Okay, first TR is obtained by P times Q. Okay, so marginal revenue will be change in revenue divided by change in output. Okay, of course, this can be, okay, so uh, okay, so if you look at this slide here, okay, because the firm can only sell at one price. Okay, so let's say, so in this example here, maybe you want to add one more column here. Okay, but okay, or you can, if you want, you can also split this thing into separate column, meaning price as one column, okay, and then average revenue as another column. Okay, but both will be the same value, meaning price is 131, AR also is 131. So first, okay, now let's say the price is 131. Okay, the price is $131. Okay, just now we confirm that firm face a perfectly elastic demand curve, means that there's only one price that the firm can sell, which is, in this example, the price will be constant at $131. So 131, okay, how do you get total revenue? TR is obtained by P times Q. Okay, P multiplied by quantity. So quantity 0, 13100, 0 lah. So you multiply by this number and you obtain this value here. Okay, so this is the product of P times Q. You will get your total revenue. Okay, So how about average revenue? Average revenue just now, the formula is TR divided by Q. Okay, because the price is constant, so TR divided by Q, you will always get the price again. So 262 divided by 2, you get 131. So the same thing, you are just reversing the process. Okay, this AR, okay, is equal to the price because you can only set at one price because the price is constant. Because of that, TR, I mean your average revenue, which is obtained by TR divided by Q, okay, this value will be the same as the value of your price. Okay, meaning AR is also the value of your price. Okay, 131 divided by 1, you get the AR to be 1. That's why here they combine into one column, the price and also the average revenue. Okay, how about marginal revenue? Okay, marginal revenue just now, the formula is the change in TR, the change in revenue, total revenue divided by the change in quantity sold. Okay, so first you need to refer to the TR, change in total revenue. So 131 minus 0, the change in this, divided by the change in quantity, 1 minus 0. So you can see also when you do the same process, change in TR divided by change in quantity, MR will also be equal to the price. Okay, all of this happen, or all of these are possible because of your perfectly elastic demand curve, meaning that the price is constant. There's only one price that the firm can sell. Because of the price remain constant, the price will be equal. Okay, price will be equal to average revenue. Okay, will be equal to marginal revenue. Okay, and then will also equal to the demand. Okay, so there are four equalities. So what you can see here, MR is equals to the price, is equals to the average revenue. So MR equals to price equals to average revenue, which is also equals to the demand curve. Okay, so from this simple example, okay, I hope you understand. You can understand this concept here. Okay, why this equality is possible, okay, can exist in a perfect competition market. Okay, so basically it all started with the firm is a price taker, and therefore they face a perfectly elastic demand curve. Okay, so if you were to plot this in a graph, so you will see that, okay, the demand curve just now we confirmed that it is a perfectly horizontal line. So PARMRD is in one straight. So they are all referring to the same line. Okay, but of course TR will be upward sloping. Okay, because TR keeps on rising. Okay, but the main focus of the main focus here, it will be these four equalities here. P equals to AR equals to MR equals to demand. Okay, I want you all to take note. Okay, in economy, okay, whenever you plot whenever you plot for the whenever you involve, or whenever you plot the revenue function, for example average revenue, okay, marginal revenue, okay, in economy, whenever you refer to average revenue line or curve, average revenue line or curve usually is also referred to the demand curve. Okay, so this apply to all types of market. Whenever you refer to perfect competition, monopoly, okay, if you are learning, if you're taking other, microeconomic subjects, for example, okay, you can learn monopolistic market, oligopoly type of market, or any type of markets out there. Whenever you plot the average revenue line, it is also considered as the demand function, okay, or the demand curve. So here I can rewrite this one. Okay, I can, to make things simple, you can also put price equals to average revenue. Okay, or in bracket you can put as demand. Okay, because usually AR and demand refers to the same thing. Okay, and equals to the MR. Okay, so meaning that in a perfect competition market, the price is equals to average revenue equals to marginal revenue. So the word demand usually will be silent. because whenever you put AR, in bracket, you are also referring to the demand curve. Okay, so only in the perfect competition market, whereby the price is equals to average revenue and equals to the marginal revenue. Okay, and next Thursday, when we cover on the monopoly market, you can see that this equality does not hold, or I mean, is not fulfilled in the monopoly market. Meaning, in monopoly market, the price is not the same as average revenue, not the same as the marginal revenue. Okay, so this equality is only possible in perfect competition market. Okay, and then it brings us to this condition: MR equals to MC. Okay, so MR equals to MC is the benchmark, or I mean, we can say like a formula for if the firm want to maximize profit. Okay, if you recall from the in the consumer topic, okay, when you learn on the concept of marginal utility, okay, you will learn on the concept of budget line, okay, the indifference curve, okay, indifference curve tangent to the budget line. This is the optimum combination of output, okay, that the consumer need to buy. Okay, so this is in the context of consumer. Okay, so what can maximize? What is the condition that maximizes consumer utility? So what you learned previously, utility can be maximized when the ratio of when you take when the ratio of the two marginal utility of the two product is equal to the ratio of the prices of the goods of the two goods. Okay, MUX over MUY, the ratio of the two marginal utility will be equal to the ratio of the prices of the good. Okay, MUX over PY will be equal to PX over PY. So this is what you learned in chapter 5 before. Okay, whereby this is the condition where consumer can maximize their utility. So for firms, what is the output? How much output that the firm need to produce in order to maximize profit? Okay, so what is the condition? Okay, what is the guideline? Okay, if you are a company, okay, and you want to maximize your profit, okay, so how much that the firm need to produce in order to get the highest profit possible? So the condition that we follow usually is what we call the MR equals to MC. Okay, marginal revenue equals to the marginal cost. When these two value are equal, so this will be the output level that maximizes the profit of the particular firm. Okay, so okay, three characteristics of MC equals to MR. Firm would rather produce than shut down. Okay, what we mean by shutdown is close business. Okay, we will not be discussing this too much in detail. Okay, but in a perfect competition market, okay, if you cannot survive in the market, meaning you are not making profit, okay, because there are many sellers, people can come and go. Okay, you can go open your shop in Shopee or Lazada or in Facebook, Instagram. Okay, you can set up your business today, and if you feel that after several months or few weeks that you cannot maintain, or you feel that you're not getting the I mean the targeted sales that you want, so you can exit the market. Okay, you can stop doing business. Okay, so uh, but as long as you are maximizing on your profit, so usually before you want to close your business, okay, so you want to see whether what you produce actually maximizing your profit or not. Okay, so this is the condition that the general guideline, okay, regardless of what market structure, whether it's perfect competition, monopoly, okay, monopolistic, oligopoly, or any type of market, we always follow this MR equals to MC rule. This is the rule or the guideline that the firm follow. Okay, so basically this is the rule to determine what is the output, what is the quantity of output that will maximize on profit, okay, that can get the maximum profit possible. Okay, so this is when you fulfill this condition, the firm can determine the quantity that will maximize output. So that is the MC equals to MR rule. Okay, but one slight difference in the perfect competition market is usually we don't call it MR equal to MC, we call it P equal to MC. But they are referring to the same thing. Why? Previously, we showed that in a perfect competition market, okay, MR is also equals to the price, correct? Okay, in this simple example, we prove that when the price is constant, average revenue will equal to the price and also equals to the marginal revenue. So only in perfect competition, whereby the marginal revenue is also equal to the price. Okay, so because these two are the same, okay, so rather than using the equality MR equal to MC, we know that MR is also equals to price in a perfect competition market. So P is also equals to MR. So we substitute MR and we use P instead. The price is equals to marginal cost. But in reality, they are still following MR equals to MC. But because this special condition in perfect competition, whereby the firm is a price taker and the firm has a perfectly elastic demand curve, meaning that the price will be constant, only one price. So because we focus on this constant price thing, okay, so in perfect competition market, the firm, rather than mentioning the MC equals to MR, we refer to the term P equals to MC. The MC is still the same, but we substitute MR into price because in as I mentioned, okay, in perfect competition, the price is equals to MR. But if you want to use MR, if you still want to stick to MR equal to MC, it will still be the same. Okay, meaning you will still get the same answer. But to be more consistent with our idea that in perfect competition, the price is constant. Okay, the price does not change. It remains constant because of this perfectly elastic demand curve. So the output that maximizes the firm profit will be when the price is equal to MC. Okay, because price is always equals to marginal revenue. Okay, in a perfect competition. So MR equals to MC is also similar to P equal to MC, only in perfect competition. Okay, for other type of market, we only refer to MR equal to MC. Okay, so in this example, we can see what is the output that maximizes the firm profit. Okay, so the guideline will be, the general guideline is MC should be equals to MR. Okay, but in perfect competition, MR we put in bracket price lah. Okay, so this is the marginal cost. Okay, price equals to marginal revenue, which is this one. So you find the point where these two are equal or more or less equal. So we find that these two are equal at this range here. I mean at this output, whereby the quantity produced will be 9. Okay, so when MC equals to price or MC equals to MR, that they are only equal when Q equals to 9. Okay, whereby, and then here you can see that the profit is maximized at 299. Okay, after that it will go down back. Okay, so it start to increase, then reaches the maximum point, and then it goes down again. Okay, so but this, I mean, you don't rely on this number, you rely on this when this condition is fulfilled, whereby MC is equals to MR or MC equal to price. Okay, P equals to MC lah. So P equal to MC means both values are more or less the same. So this is achieved and quantity equals to 9. Okay, so in the previous topic, okay, I already showed you how the shape of the marginal cost curve, the marginal, the average cost, and also the average variable cost. Okay, and also the relationship between marginal cost and also average cost. That was discussed in the last class last week. Okay, last Thursday. So in that class, we already discussed why marginal cost, the shape is like this. First, it declines, and then it goes up again. Okay, the law of diminishing marginal return. Okay, first you start to decrease, and then you go up again. And then these two curves, EC and ABC, this point will be the minimum point, whereby MC, okay, will only cut average cost and average variable cost at the minimum point of this curve. Of course, you may not see from this sketch here, but in mathematically, MC will only intersect AC and also average variable cost at the minimum point. And because AC, average cost, is the sum of average variable cost plus average fixed cost, okay? And because total cost is fixed cost plus variable cost. So average total cost will be the sum of average variable cost plus average fixed cost. So that's why the minimum point of AC will be higher than the minimum point of average variable cost, because AC is a combination of two. Okay, so you can see that whenever you plot this thing, or you want to refer to this graph, okay, it is common. You should put this location to the right of the average variable cost, the minimum point of average variable cost. Okay, so how do you determine this area of profit? So we know that profit, okay, is calculated as TR minus T. Okay, total cost minus total revenue deduct by total cost. Okay, so in this simple diagram here, okay, why does the yellow area is denoted as the economic profit, whereby total revenue minus total cost? So how do you determine this as the profit area? So first, we know that profit just now, P times Q will give you total revenue. Okay, total revenue. So where is total revenue here? So we know that this red line here is your demand curve. Okay, why? Because this is noted as the MR, okay, which is also equals to AR, okay, which is also equals to price, correct? So P equals to AR equals to MR. So this MR line is also equal to the other two values. Okay, so to get total revenue, okay, to determine the output that maximizes profit, what is the condition that we use? MC equals to MR, correct? Or we can also refer MR as price, okay, in the perfect competition market. But the general guideline will be MC equals to MR. So in terms of graph, okay, when does the two line equals? When the two line intersect, the equal sign means in terms of graph, when the two lines intersect. So marginal cost intersect with marginal revenue at this point here. Okay, so the equal sign means the intersection point line here. So at this point, this condition is fulfilled. MC, okay, curve equals to the MR curve at this intersection point. So at this point, you can determine what is the quantity that maximizes the profit. Okay, just refer to the scale on the x-axis. So 9 will be the quantity that maximum profit. Okay, compared to the price of 131. So from here, you can determine what is the total revenue. Total revenue is 131 P times quantity. So if you were to shape the whole area, okay, so let's say if I were to shape this as so this blue area will be the total revenue area. So this whole part will be total revenue. Okay. Total revenue means total revenue is P times quantity. Okay. So why we stop at this point? Because MC curve intersect with MR. Okay. MC equals to MR. So at this point, you determine what is the quantity and what is the price. Okay. So remember, this is also equals to the price and also the ER lah. Okay. Okay. So that is, so this blue area is the total revenue area. How about the total cost? Okay. So total cost, okay, you need to refer the average cost line. So when the line cuts the average cost line here at this point, okay, so this is the average cost point. Okay, and at this point, you can see that 97.78, this is referring to average cost. Okay, because our curve is average cost, not total cost. Okay, so 97.78, this is the value of average cost, okay, when you produce at quantity equals to 9. Okay, when you produce at 9, average cost will be 97.78. Okay, but what we want is the total cost, not average cost. Okay, just now we showed that total revenue is obtained by P times quantity. Okay, so the blue area just now will be your total revenue area. Okay, how about the total cost? What we get is the average cost. So how to convert average cost into total cost? So first, what is the formula for average cost? Okay, average cost is obtained by, okay, is obtained by total cost divided by quantity, correct? So average cost is equal to TC over Q. So if you want to calculate TC, simply cross multiply, meaning average cost multiply by quantity, you will get total cost. Correct? Just a simple, reverse the process. Okay? AC is TC over Q. So if you know AC, then you can calculate TC, which is average cost multiplied by quantity. So at this point here, okay, when first we determine according to MC equals to MR, we know that quantity that maximizes output is at 9. Okay, sorry, maximizes profit is at 9 unit. So along this line, we can construct what is our TR. TR is P, so this is price point multiplied by quantity. So this will be the total revenue area. Okay, so this is our TR. And from here also we can determine where is our total cost. Okay, total cost is obtained by AC times Q. So we know that this is the average cost point. So this is average cost, okay, which is equal to 97. So AC multiplied by quantity, okay. So this point multiplied by the quantity, okay. So the red area represent the total cost, okay. So TR minus TC, okay, the blue area minus the red area. So that will gives you the orange, I mean this yellow area as the total profit area. Okay, so I hope you are clear on that, how we arrive at this yellow area, TR minus TC. Okay, so of course, the first step is to determine using the MC equals to MR. MC equals to MR is when the two graphs intersect at this point. So from this point, you can determine what is the quantity and what is the price. Okay, that maximizes the revenue. So P times Q, you get total revenue. So along the same line, when the line cuts your average cost, you can determine what is the quantity. I mean, at this quantity, what is the average cost? So AC multiplied by Q, you can obtain the total cost. So taking the difference between the two areas will give you the economic profit or the profit area under perfect competition. Okay, so the rest will be the same. Okay, so whether the firm makes profit or loss, basically is based on the position of the average cost and the average variable cost. I mean, mainly is the position of the average cost function. Okay, and also the demand function. Okay, if the demand is below the average cost, the firm is certainly to make a loss. For example, this one, you can see that the demand is here. This is the demand function, the demand curve. It is above the average cost line. Okay, so when it is above, the firm will make profit. Okay, but if the demand curve like this, in the second slide, you can see that the demand curve is below the average cost. So when that is the condition, the firm will definitely make a loss. So here you can see that if this is the demand curve, okay, again, use the condition MC equals to MR. So when the two lines intersect, okay, MC equals to MR. So this is MC, okay, the blue line. MR is the red line. So when does the two graph intersect? Okay, they intersect at this point here. So at this point, you can determine that this is the quantity that maximizes the profit. Okay, and along the same line, okay, you need to find where does this line cuts the average cost. So first, this line, at this point, you can determine what is the price. So 81 is the price. So P times quantity. Okay, so this area, okay, this red area will be the total revenue area. Okay, so this area will be the total revenue. Okay, meaning P times quantity gives you total revenue. Okay, how about the total cost? Okay, so total cost you need to refer to the, so along this same line here, okay, this line whereby MC equals to MR, you can get what is the quantity. Along the same line, you need to find where does this line cuts the average cost line. So it cuts, you need to go up this time around, not going down, because demand curve is below the average cost. So it cuts the average cost at this point here. So at this point, and then you can refer to the y-axis. So this value 100 will be the average cost value, okay, AC. So this point will be the average cost. So AC times quantity gives you total cost. Okay, I showed in the previous slide. Okay, total cost is obtained by AC multiplied by Q. Okay, then you get, meaning this area will be the total cost area. Okay, so now you have this. So if I were to draw this, the blue area here, so the red will be the total revenue, the blue will be the total cost. So TC is above, is more than total revenue. So that gives you the remaining yellow area as the loss area. Okay, so I think these two slides should be sufficient for you to understand how to determine the area of profit. Okay, as long as the demand curve is above the average cost, okay, the firm will usually make profit. But if the demand curve is below the average cost line, the firm will make loss. Okay, so and then we have this condition, what we call as the shutdown or close down case. Okay, whereby the business or the firm need to stop doing business completely. Okay, so when does the business need to stop doing business? So this condition, you need to know, you need to look at the position of the demand curve. Okay, so this is the demand curve, the MR. Remember, MR is also equals to AR, is also equals to demand. Okay, is also equals to price. Okay, in the, so this line is also the demand curve. So as long as the, okay, so when the demand curve or the MR curve is less than average variable cost, okay, if the demand curve is below the average variable cost, the firm need to shut down, meaning stop business completely. So what you can see here is that the demand curve is here, average cost line is here. So when it is below the average cost, the firm definitely need to close business. Okay, but if let's say I were to move this line here, somewhere here, okay, meaning that the demand function is above the average variable cost. So if that is the condition, the firm does not need to close business. They need to continue. Okay, but if I, let's say, okay, this is the original position. Okay, this one, this point here. Okay, meaning that the demand curve is below the average variable cost. Okay, but not at the minimum. You can see that this is the minimum point. I mean, this is the, at this line. Okay, at this line here. Okay, at this line, let's say I okay, let's say I change this one. Okay, at this green line here. Okay, when, okay, how do you get this green line? When MR equals to MC, correct? MC equals to MR. When the two lines intersect, they intersect at this point here. Okay, at this point. When they intersect at this point, okay, you, at this point, you refer to this line as the quantity. So along this line, you can also see what is the total, what is the average cost, meaning at this green line, when it cuts the average cost, so this will be the average cost value. Okay, so this is the, so this point, so this is the average cost AC. Okay, So AC times quantity will be total cost. Okay, just like same as before. And at this point, 71 is the price. So P times quantity is the revenue. Okay, so going back to my point there. Okay, when the demand curve is below the average cost curve. When I say below, it is below the point where this line intersect the average cost. So that's why you can see this is the point, MC equals to MR. This point here is where this green line cuts your average variable cost line. So as long as this point is below, the firm need to stop doing business completely. But if I move this line, let's say this at this point, exactly at the same point, okay, so bear in mind, so ignore the second dot here. Okay, so this is the original line, right? Because whereby it is below the average cost point, okay, this point. But if I were to move this line, meaning it is the same point whereby the demand, the MC is equal to MR, so you get this point. So along the same green line, so that is also the line where it cuts the average variable cost. So if that is the condition, meaning the firm need to decide, okay, whether to continue or to stop doing business. Both are the same, meaning the firm still need to cover the same amount of loss. Okay, so this is what we call the shutdown condition. Okay, so if you refer to some microeconomic textbook, okay, they call this as the shutdown, uh, okay, as the shutdown condition. Okay, shutdown condition, whereby so this shutdown condition is only applicable, okay, or is the word shutdown condition is it, I mean it occurs when the when MC equals to MR, okay, the point where MC equals to LR, and you can determine what is the output. So along the same line, so the line actually cuts the average cost at its, so you can see that this demand function is the same as the is equal to the average variable cost line. So that is what we call the shutdown condition. So when the firm is at shutdown point condition, whether the firm want to stop doing business, whether they want to continue still doing business although they are making loss, or the firm want to exit the market, meaning stop doing business completely, both will, meaning the firm can decide to do both, whether this or this. Okay, I'm not going to discuss too much into detail because I don't think that is required in your syllabus. But so that is when what we call the shutdown condition. But if the line is, if the demand function is well below the average cost, then the best thing to do or the sensible thing to do is to close business completely. Okay, so close business completely or continue or shut down, okay, at this point, or anywhere in between average cost and average variable cost. So it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, as long as in between this line. So as long as the demand function is between average cost and average variable cost, the firm need to continue business. Okay, so I hope you understand this, the difference in the condition. Okay, even though the firm is making loss, but as long as the demand curve is between these two lines, average and variable cost, so the firm need to continue doing business. Okay, but then if the line is exactly the same as the minimum, I mean the point of intersection of average variable cost, the firm can continue or the firm can exit the market. But if the line is well below the average variable cost, the firm need to definitely stop doing business. Okay, so I think that is the rest of the slides, okay, on this part, on this long run thing. Okay, I think we will cover on next class, next Thursday. Okay, so for today, I think we stop at this the shutdown or close down point. Okay, the difference between to continue or not to continue. Okay, so the next class we will cover on the long run condition, and then we will also look at this condition under monopoly. Okay, monopoly not so much things to discuss. Okay, so the main thing is the perfect competition. Okay, so again, we upload this video in your OL. Okay, and then you can